All right, are you ready to learn how easy and awesome it is to add fractions on a scientific calculator? Well then, let's get started. Now, right now, I am using a Texas Instruments scientific calculator, but you can use any scientific calculator. This just happens to be the one that I had, so just kind of a little disclaimer there. All right, so I'm going to start off with this pair of fractions, 1/4 plus 3/5. And I'm not going to write it down on a piece of scratch paper. I'm just going to use my calculator to figure it out. And my calculator is not only going to add these unlike fractions, but it's also going to simplify them. So that means that I won't even have to reduce the fraction when I'm done. Super awesome. All right, so let's start with putting our first fraction in of 1/4. Now to do that, I am going to use the white buttons for my numerators and my denominators. And I'm going to be using this ABC button here to create the fraction bar. So let me show you what that looks like. So my first fraction is 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and push my 1. And again, this ABC button looks like a mixed number because that is our fraction button on this calculator. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And as you can see, it looks a little bit different than a horizontal or a diagonal fraction bar. It looks like a backwards L. But that's how it looks in your scientific calculator. So my denominator of 4 is next. So this is how a fraction looks in your scientific calculator. So that's my fraction of 1/4. Then I'm going to click my addition button, and then I'm going to put my second fraction of 3/5 in. So I just go ahead and put my numerator of 3. I go up and I use that fraction button, the ABC button here, and I put the denominator of 5. And then all I have to do is hit the enter or the equal sign, and I get an answer of 17/20. And that's all there is to it. Awesome! Okay, so the next pair of fractions I'm going to show you, when we get an answer, the answer is actually going to be as a mixed number. So I want to show that one to you next. So my next pair of fractions is 1/2 plus 2/3. So let's go ahead and use the white button. So we're going to put the 1 for my numerator. We're going to use that ABC button here for my fraction bar and my denominator of 2. So there's my fraction of 1/2. Then I'm going to add to that 2/3. So I go ahead and hit the addition sign. Then I'm going to put my 2 as my numerator, that fraction or that ABC button, and then I'm going to put my denominator of 3, and then I'm going to hit enter or equal. And this time you see an answer of 1U16. And I just want to show you that that U stands for units. And what it does is it separates the whole number from the fraction in this mixed number. So when you see something like this, it is read as the mixed number 1 1/6. The last pair of fractions I'd like to show you are in the form of mixed numbers. And so adding mixed numbers on the calculator is just as easy and maybe even more awesome to do than regular fractions on this scientific calculator. So we're going to take these two fractions of 1/2 plus 3 4/5. So let me show you how we put a mixed number into our scientific calculator. So the first number I'm going to put in here is my whole number of 1. So I'm going to come down here to the white buttons and I'm going to put a 1 in there. And again, I'm going to go back to this fraction button, the ABC button on my calculator, and I'm going to click it, and it looks very similar to when I did my other fractions where that little backwards L was the fraction bar. But in this case, it's actually going to separate my whole number of 1 from my fraction of 1/2. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my numerator of 1 in, and again do my ABC button or my fraction button, and then I'll put my denominator of 2. So on a scientific calculator, a mixed number looks like this, okay? Then the next thing I'm going to do is hit my add button, and I have one more mixed number to put in there. So I'm going to click my 3, go to that fraction button, which looks like ABC, put my numerator of 4, go ahead and hit that fraction button again, and then my denominator of 5. And then I'm going to hit the enter or the equal. And again, I have an answer of 5U3/10. So again, that U stands for units, and it's separating the whole number of 5 from the fraction of 3/10. So when you see this, you're going to read it as 5 3/10. So there you have it. Now you know how to add both fractions and mixed numbers on your calculator. I hope you found this video to be helpful, and if you did, please don't forget to subscribe and click that like button. And if you'd like to see more videos, please let me know in the comments section and I'll try to make them just for you. Thanks for watching.